Well, they're basically star people,
Yeah.
we could say starfaring people
Yes.
that our ancestors used to be um, at some point. We've lost that connection with the star elders or star council, with the cosmic family, as you can say,
Yeah.
due to our behaviors, our materialism, and our conflicts, our karmas that humanity has accumulated and are still lingering, that are still getting heavy on all of us, that we need
Yeah.
to soon.
You mentioned something there, that the word healing. I mean, did they heal you in some way? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Starseed Speak. I'm Rebecca Rose, and I'm here today with Sunbow Truebrother. Some people know him as a real connector of the Sasquatch realm with the human realm through the spirit and the heart and soul. He's written several books. I'll read from the bio, but just so I think most people know you, Sunbow, as you brought forth Sasquatch messages for humanity in several parts. But just for people who maybe aren't familiar with you, I'll just give a little introduction here. Sunbow Truebrother is an author, international speaker, shamanic practitioner, psychic, channel, contactee, and interspecies communicator. He traveled for 4 decades in 20 countries, learning with numerous spiritual elders and medicine teachers from dozens of indigenous nations. Yeah, and authored the Sasquatch Message to Humanity trilogy and self-published Hairy Humanoids from the Wild Encyclopedia of All Things Sasquatch, as well as the Contemporary Shamanic Journeys autobiographical series, with 3 titles available so far. And we will also link all that below so you can make contact with him and all of that he has brought forth. So thank you for joining us. We're kind of linked across the north. I'm in Alaska. I believe you're in Quebec. And
Right.
I think both of us have something in common with that, the love of deep wild. And as we said before, maybe we started to record, maybe seeing more animals than people. So
Yeah,
welcome today. I'm happy to have you.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So so many questions and just so many thanks for your willingness to, I think am I right that your first contact experience with Sasquatch was 1981 in BC, Fraser River, is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Ah,
The
okay.
first close encounter. Yeah.
Yeah, so many years have passed since then. We're 40 years on. And this it feels like, is it true to say that the Sasquatch um connection that you have has been such a lodestone and North Star for your life? Is that so still?
Sure is. It's not a common story, but it's not unique. There's a lot of people who have similar experiences, this ages,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
some cultures and traditions are familiar with those beings.
yeah, yeah,
They're the best sources apart from first-hand experience or second-hand
yeah,
account.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And
that,
this was, I feel that you had, if I understand your story correctly, you didn't really have your mind at this point back in 81. You're a young guy still, right? Like, so you didn't really have a frame of reference for what happened that night while you were camping out in BC on the Fraser River. Is that true? And like the Sasquatch came through. Yeah.
Absolutely, I don't have any. I was starting my life basically. My first journey, and we didn't have any teachings. A bunch of young guys coming out of the city, and actually, the day
Yeah.
after the Sasquatch put down our lean-to in the
Yes,
middle of
that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like 7 out of 10 just flew. They just flee. They were afraid.
yeah.
Couldn't
Got
blame
the
them.
the guys you were with, I think, is that who you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they like took off, and you were going, oh wait, there's something. What was your response to that night when the Sasquatch came through? Like,
We were in total. mystery because we had no idea. We tried to figure out if it was a spirit or someone hidden. We thought it
Yeah.
were the natives playing pranks. That they wouldn't come at 3 in the morning and the very dark, heavy raining night just to put down our camp without a flashlight. So there was more to it because one guy saw the Sasquatch and told us, but we couldn't
Yeah.
understand, we couldn't believe it, basically.
Right. And what I love about this point, this beginning juncture for you, this sort of portal, is that you weren't the only person who saw it. When we have, when I have had contact experiences that other people have also witnessed, maybe with a ship or something, that's always corroborative or in a way validating, perhaps. Um,
In fact, that time I didn't see it. We
okay.
all, though the 10 of us,
Hmm.
and young guys with no spiritual education, we all
Yeah.
described, we heard the Sasquatch talk to our mind or in our thoughts or
Yeah.
in our dreams.
Yeah.
We all get the same message. We had been disrespectful. We were not welcome
Hmm. Hmm.
there. The guy who saw the Sasquatch, it was one who left the next morning. I didn't know, until years later that it was a Sasquatch happening because we couldn't make sense out of it. But
Right.
it became clear later when I realized it was right by Chehalis, which is the place where the very name Sasquatch comes from. Uh,
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah.
the Alcomilan dialect of the Salishan people.
Okay. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Chehalis, their tribal emblem is a Sasquatch, and it's all over the place there. It's
Hmm.
where the Sasquatch came to be known to the world, basically.
Hmm. Hmm. And for those who aren't familiar, I'm just going to say that's British Columbia, Canada, First Nations reference here that we're making. And this, for you, am I correct that this launched a great spiritual quest for you and led you to all the other things that would unfold spiritually for you, which is one thing I'm so interested in about your story because you traveled, like we've said at the beginning, you traveled the world seeking spiritual wisdom, and of course, the heart wisdom within, the spiritual soul wisdom within is where were you led? Tell us a little bit about what unfolded. I know this is long past for you, but it will help my listeners understand you better.
It started young, even before that I had some paranormal experiences and vivid dreams, out of
Uh,
body experiences,
okay, okay, yeah, all right,
seeing entities and things like that, that I couldn't find explanations in my surrounding, in my
yeah,
Christian education and
hmm,
academic background. So I went on a quest. I left before I was 17 on my first quest, and that's that first fall. That's when this experience happened,
okay,
Fraser River, and that effectively it did launch me very much on a spiritual quest as my main goal and purpose in life. That young age of 17, I decided that being rich and famous wasn't my thing. Being into big business or materialism wasn't my thing. I wanted to find out who I am, what I'm here for, and where do we come from, and all these questions that give a purpose to life, basically.
yeah, very much. I really appreciate that. It's such a I value that myself. So, and you were called to Hopi lands in the Southwest and all. I mean, where did you land after that? Was there a spiritual practice or a physical location that was calling to you during the aftermath of the first encounter with Sasquatch? Um,
I went looking for knowledge and understanding explanations.
yeah,
I found most of it and to everything that concerns paranormal and non-human intelligence.
yeah,
My answers in the native ancestral shamanic traditions.
hmm, yeah,
They are familiar with those beings, with star beings, with the spirit world, and how you have an experience. They respect it. They won't laugh at you.
yes, yes. It's quite antithetical to our approach here in the more Western world. Yeah.
And they have also very often a lot of stories and teachings about these things to help us understand what's going on.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's where I found first teachings that kind of made sense.
Yeah.
That led me eventually, after many searches, to months later to the Hopi land where I had been guided and advised to go.
Yeah.
And I ended up there
Mm.
finding pretty much, like I would say, not a secretism, but a complete picture, the missing piece I was looking for.
Yeah.
I found him there.
Yeah. 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 I have a long tenure in those lands. I lived for 20 years out there, and our experiences would be different, but a lot of solo journeying out through those lands and the Dene people and so on. There's a lot there. So thank you for sharing that. And at what point did you mentioned I heard this. It was a brief mention in your early life, but you said you'd had some contact experiences, and I would be remiss in maybe not asking you a question about what would you share anything about that? You had some maybe galactic contact or so from early life, or can you speak to that?
Yeah, it started at the same time, early 80s. That first experience, I told was in 81. And then in that same journey, I started having more experiences, including seeing spaceships or starships. And it started right away with some telepathic communication, or at least
Yeah.
noticing the no telepathic contact. Sometimes you ask for confirmation and a light appears or something.
Yeah.
You feel there's an exchange possible. It takes time to develop, but at first you kind of that's what I early noticed early, and even the early 80s, I had several close encounters, including with humanoids.
Uh, okay.
Some in the physical materialized,
Yeah.
others in the astral plane, we can say, or
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
dreams, or yeah, I was taken on ships and shown how they function and different things.
Hmm.
That's hard to summarize in a paragraph,
It
but
does. I know we could talk for hours just on that little bit that you just said. So, of course, and there's so much. But I wanted to ask that because my audience is very into everything related to contact experiences and, terrestrial and non-terrestrial beings. So, um, were you frightened at all by being taken on ships, or how did that land for you? What was that like?
it is always very impressive when you have any kind of paranormal experience or
Yeah.
encounter with non-human intelligence.
Yeah.
But you get used to it, and then especially when you find the teachings, you find
Yeah.
the help you understand. So then you know what you're dealing with, and the more you do, the more you learn how to deal with those things. We have to say not all forces are positive or
Yeah.
helping.
Hmm.
We have
Yes.
to discern,
Yes.
learn how to protect ourselves and others
Yes.
from negative influence. But there's also positive influence helping us, and we're part of that's when we notice that we're part of a large cosmic family.
Yes.
Have a
Yeah.
lot of relatives in every realm.
Yeah. Were
Begin with
you in the earlier we're still in your introduction, so bear with me in the introduction of your life, and I know this is a long time ago, but it feels like, and I love this, that it feels like you were open-minded, or maybe you just had to be because these things were happening to you. Were you initially a little like, I don't know, or were you rather welcoming of the unusual?
Sure, yeah, it's because it's never forced or it's never imposed. It takes efforts and free will, and we have to do our own steps. For instance, when I decided to go travel and then turn it into a spiritual quest, that was
Yeah.
already calling for those things to happen. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what happened first. Maybe the experiences
Yeah.
happened before the teaching. So I
Yeah.
had to find the teaching to understand. And then
Mm.
afterward, it became easier to understand. More teachings came, more experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. It builds
Until
on
you,
itself. Hmm.
yeah, at some
Hmm.
point, you back in 86, I realized that I could call spaceship. I did that for some friends. I had seen a spaceship land. I was seeing a lot around Mount Shasta. I was seeing them a lot.
Oh, okay, around Shasta. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
By the caves, we went 1 mile underground there in the cave. But I saw the spaceship land, so I went to tell my friends. I went back to tell them. We waited on the roof 5, 10 minutes. They said, "Well, nothing happened." So I said, "Why don't we call them?" And we kind of sent that thought, and the ship
Ah,
rose again, flew toward us, and it flew right above us, very close.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What we'll call C5.
Yeah, CE5. All right. So my mind, of course, is going back to Sasquatch and you bringing the books, which I think, am I right in that you received the first channeled messages from Elder Camus in is that 2015? Is that
Yeah.
right? Or okay, so there's
First
quite
book
a
was written in 2015. Yeah.
okay. And meantime, there's a lot of like, we opened sort of speaking to your first contact in 81 with the Sasquatch in your camp in BC. Now, a lot of years passed between that and then 2015. Can you give us a little bit of frame of reference of what was happening with the Sasquatch groups in your visits and those things in those intervening years?
Sure. Well, it was a long process. I often say that it took me 33 years of shamanic training before I
Yeah.
was ready to go out and meet them.
Hmm.
Because I knew I had, sometimes they came up to me before that. I wasn't always ready or couldn't understand. So it was a slow, gentle process. Same with the star people. They never abducted me.
Mm-hmm.
They showed me their ship. They say, "Would you like to come aboard? We'd like to teach you things." So then it's consent essential. It's you're
Yeah.
working with them. You're not
Yeah.
being.
Right. You had a choice is what I hear you saying, consensual in this. And a lot of my viewers or listeners will be more familiar with like maybe non-consensual abduction experiences, or at least not consciously chosen. Sometimes I think those experiences happen predicated on the journey of the soul. But yeah. So I like what you said there, and I'm hearing you about the many years of spiritual practice it took you to be ready to actually bring in that first book. And sometimes people ask me, as a channel, how do we become that? How do we learn to receive these higher messages? And I have always felt like I don't know exactly how to teach the warp and weft, the tapestry, the fabric of my spiritual practice, heart-based, is really what allows it. For me, my understanding is what allows that channel that is benevolent channel, grounded channel to really come through. That contact experience comes through the heart. Is that something can you speak to that at all, or is that relevant?
Yeah, as you said, there's many factors that would make someone progress spiritually.
Hmm.
First, there could be like past life factors or
Hmm.
uh, educational settings and stuff. But
Yeah.
there could be there's personal choices
Yeah.
and the efforts we put. So in those years, as you ask, I started practicing, and practice is a very important thing. If you want to progress in anything, but spiritually as well.
Hmm.
Uh, so
Hmm.
that's why I offer people, we can say call someone a shaman, but we shouldn't. Nobody should call themselves a shaman. We can see we're a shamanic practitioner because
Hmm.
first of all, uh, what makes any distinction of shamanic practitioner or not is that the practice. It's not a belief. It's not a. It's that it's a way of life.
Yeah.
It's a path, and so that also comes with other teachings from many sources, many elders,
Yeah.
many people who have
Yeah.
walked those paths for generations and can save us some steps by transmitting their knowledge.
Yeah.
If we are, and that also goes with the goodwill and opening and the efforts we put in learning.
Oh, so true. It's refreshing to speak with you. I'm very appreciative of our time together today. At the time in 2015 when this came through, were you also vision questing? And is that correct that the book came through as a result, or that the messages of Camus? Yeah. And were you just I'll let you speak to that, but were you also aware that they were Camus and others were maybe wanting to give you this book and these teachings? You were aware of that at the time. Yeah.
I wasn't aware of the message was gonna come out through me, or they had that in mind, or maybe they were still waiting to see if I was ready. But for the year before, they started visiting me on a regular basis, and
Okay. Yeah.
I thought I was gonna go crazy, because I mean, when you got Sasquatch walking on your roof and looking at you through the window, and you can not even believe your own eyes, and you cannot talk to anyone. It's like you're
Yes.
my best
Yeah.
friend. I
Yeah.
was trying to make him understand something weird happened last night. Someone walked on the bus and it was moving like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I could barely find maybe two or three medicine people, friends I knew, like, who had some kind of knowledge.
Yeah. 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 So you've been fasting and so for a few days and before Camus began to speak through you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it took me also several sporadic encounters, even close sometimes over the years. So I get to that point where I know they're out there, and I know also I'm related to them, and I want to meet them. I had
Yeah. Yeah.
I had sightings already and everything, so I knew at that point I'm gonna go out in the woods where on Vancouver Island, which is the highest
Mhm.
concentration of sightings, and it's very present in the native
Yeah.
cultures. So I went there and I said I'm gonna stay there until I find out. And the first day I found footprints.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
After a week, I decided to do ceremony instead of wandering around,
Hmm.
researcher and all that. I decided to let's call a good spirit and not try to surprise them or something.
Yeah, amazing. You saw the footprints and so on right there like that. I'll be honest and say the, the reasons I got in contact with you is that I'd only had a couple of connections etherically for clients coming, Sasquatch of some sort coming through for clients over the years. But recently, it was this summer, I was out on the land camping here and fishing, camping just by myself out on a big river up here in interior Alaska. And I was in the back of my truck and I just eating dinner. It's raining, and I'm looking out the window doing nothing. And there's a Sasquatch, and I don't know if I really saw it with my physical eyes, but it was very etheric. And I went, oh, 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 oh. And then it was with me for the days I was out camping. Then I come back and I've got some new land here that I've just moved into. It's very remote, the end of a long, journey to get out to my property, which is it's rugged out here. There's no lights, there's no people, there's nothing. And whenever I go out on the land, I feel this presence of almost like a spokesperson, sometimes female actually, very protective on my left. And I feel like when I'm walking in the untracked territory here on my property and beyond, they're with me. And I took a lot of channel, which I've yet to transcribe. This isn't about me. I want to bring it back to you. But just to say, like, this is part of why I reached out to you, because it's like it's hard to put to words, at least for me, because I see them as yes, the hairy creatures that we know as Sasquatch, but also as etheric beings of light with a very almost urgent, it feels like urgency to connect with us and to help us come to the right path. Does that ring a bell at all?
Totally. They're our closest relatives if we talk genetically. They
Okay.
are
Yeah.
elder relatives, and chronologically they've been here much longer than us, and they also have been on many planets. So they are part of the star council.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for saying that. At first glance, I have listeners who might be saying, well, how are they, the Sasquatch, we see the hairy guys on Earth, how are they related to the star councils? But there's a huge relationship going on there, and I feel them as very galactic in nature, for sure.
And they have interdimensional abilities that means
Yes.
that we could call supernatural, paranormal. They can shapeshift, appear, disappear. They can turn into
Yes.
orbs
Hmm.
and teleport, whatever, and they are telepathic.
Hmm. Hmm.
That
Hmm.
pretty much this simple acknowledgement of what it is
Yes.
that is
Yeah.
reported by thousands of reports since ancestral days
There's
is
thousands. Yeah.
the answer to the riddle. It is the answer to the puzzle. It's what explains the unexplained, basically, about Sasquatch or Yeti and all those beings.
Hmm. Hmm.
That
Yeah.
they can appear and disappear. You can see a couple of footprints and no more.
Hmm.
And all the ancient elder medicine people who have knowledge about them will tell you the same thing, whether in here or in Australia or in Asia, anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, is it accurate that they do have some place on a council of, I don't like to give names to those things, but a council of beings who has the humanity's better interest at heart? Is that also your impression, or has that been the case in the past, perhaps? Or what we call the past? Wow.
Yeah, they have. Let's say what we do when we become elders. We just retire, and that's we probably elder means someone who cares for the younger ones, the future generations.
Yeah.
Someone who teach, who can guide, who can give a good example. That's the greatest teacher by caring, loving, being wise, and so these values and virtues and this knowledge can be transmitted, kept
Yeah.
alive, and even improved over time.
Yeah.
So what do the elder species or the more advanced, more evolved, non-human intelligence do? They're caretakers, like we should be. They're
Yeah.
caretakers, they're watchers, they protect, if they protect us,
Yes. Yeah.
and they will teach those who are open and willing to receive those teachings.
Yes. Yes to all of that. And do you feel like, Camus' teachings are, as I understand them, are very based on, the trajectory of the soul, soul-based principles, and also the heart, and coming back into spiritual union with ourselves, with others, with this planet, and the highest expression we could have here based on unity. I mean, has his message changed or broadened or become more uh, pointed over time as you know him? Or
Yeah, well, there are some universal truths that remain. Like for
yeah.
instance, the fabrics of the universe and the dimensions
Mhm.
that can take lifetimes to understand, but
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
why we're here for so long. But there are things that apply to temporal or temporary situations. Where are we heading now as a human species, for instance?
Yeah.
There's good and bad sides. We have to be able to see and acknowledge because that's a lot of ancient spiritual teachings, including from native prophecies, that tell us we basically make our destiny, and if we choose the wrong path, it will end up bad for us and the planet. And if we choose the right path, which is basically peace, harmony, respect, being caretakers,
Yeah.
well, then things will get better. And that's the same story with the red path and the black path that cross each other. Every steps we take, we can go to the path of healing or the path of destruction.
Okay. I like how you said that with that metaphor, the black path and red path.
That's an
Uh,
old teaching.
hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, so these things that just tell us that basically we are responsible. That's the difference between, if I may say, the difference between religion and spirituality. Spirituality is like it's a constant evolution and learning and taking responsibility and practice.
Yeah.
It's not like adopting a belief that's it and you're done. It doesn't work.
Yes. Yeah. When we bring our personal experience to the table and we're really engaged with our learning and its expression in this world, I think things really begin to change. And I think I heard you say in our talk so far that you regard them as family, or do you feel like the Sasquatch people are also ancestrally related to you?
Yes, I found out through research in the archives and contacting my native cousin, who's the family historian, that I'm part Sasquatch. To make the story short, my
Hmm.
great grandfather and his twin brother were found in the wilderness. Was documented in the old Gazette, and so found out after that that there's a lot of similar stories all
Yeah.
over many native tribes, not only in America, that they have, well, DNA studies have shown they have 99% the same DNA than we do, and
Yeah.
1% difference. So that means there's been some DNA exchange, which is not necessarily interbreeding as we would
Yeah.
conceive
Hmm.
in a natural way, but there could be interdimensional interventions to transmit a DNA code.
Yeah, I think I've read that in your writings that it's
Uh,
not necessarily in the traditional biological sense here that we usually think of as transmitting young and procreating, but more it can be etheric and very quantum in nature. I see this too with a lot of the galactic children who want to come in now. Like they approach me and I'm or so with other clients that I see, these galactic kids want to come in, but it's not necessarily taking up residence in the womb and coming forth in the traditional way, conventional way. So
yeah,
we're always called to broaden our minds about the realms of possibility. Um, oh, there's a lot there. And so I know some people listening might want to know what is the connection between the Sasquatch and ETs, UFOs? I mean, I feel like it's all through this. They're interdimensional in nature, and they're part. Would we say Sasquatch is part extraterrestrial, or I don't know if that's quite accurate, but can you speak to that a little bit? That's also a big, broad question. So
well, they're basically star people,
yeah,
we could say starfaring people
yes,
that our ancestors used to be um, at some point. We've lost that connection with the star elders or star council, with the cosmic family, as you can say,
yeah,
due to our behaviors, our materialism, and our conflicts, our karmas that humanity has accumulated and are still lingering, that are still getting heavy on all of us, that we need
yeah,
to soon make
yeah.
a big cleansing and healing if we want to safeguard what's worth saving, all our experience and wisdom and all the knowledge we've had.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. You mentioned something there that the word healing. I mean, did they heal you in some way?
Yes, and the best way is that they will guide like real healers do. They will guide you. They will teach you to become the healer, to
Hmm.
understand
Hmm.
what's the cause, how to heal it at the cause, with we can say quantum or energy work.
Yeah.
So most of our bodies, different bodies, are
Hmm.
uh, controlled by the psyche. So once
Yeah.
this is at peace and balance and healed, the rest follows, and we can put the energy where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Uh, this way, we can self heal a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of the things they have helped me to develop.
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much for bringing us back to that wisdom, which is, yeah, it's all energetic when we come into alignment in that way, spiritually. I might say things in our bodies and our biology and our emotional strain, really come also into balance. So I like that. Thank you so much. Yeah, the piece about healing and that they're such teachers. Is Camus still part of your team, so to say? Is he still around?
There's definitely some connections that are beyond space and time.
Yeah.
They are eternal, especially once you establish a telepathic contact. Uh,
Yes, it
However,
is. It's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
However, do you need to call your friend every day to say what's going on, or
mhm.
what's new since yesterday?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The guys that have been around, it's quantum in nature. So it becomes difficult to parse out in linear time. Are they still with us? Yes.
There are occasions where you just receive the guidance.
Yeah.
You don't always even need to dial. Sometimes it just comes.
Isn't that funny? Yes. Do you go through periods where you have a lot coming through and maybe not so much at all coming through? Like where there's
Totally, we all do. We all do,
yeah.
and that's fine because we have to make it on our own too.
Yes.
We have not to be dependent all the time on our guides, on our
Yeah.
teachers.
Hmm.
They're all the real teachers. If I say the best human teachers I've had, they had one thing in common. First of all, they were very humble.
Hmm.
They don't flash. They don't look for fans and followers and stuff like or disciples or anything. And second of all, they all teach us to become the master, to find the
Yeah.
master.
Hmm.
That's their whole goal. They don't want you to copy them or to follow or to. They
Yeah.
want you to take an example and apply it in your own life, so you become the master.
Yeah. That lands so well. Thank you. I'm glad you shared that with our audience. That's a timeless, again, timeless wisdom there. Um, what is your most recent book? If the first one came out in 2015, this first Sasquatch message to humanity. And then was it two more that
Yeah,
came? Yeah.
there's three in the trilogy. The Sasquatch Message to Humanity. The third one is 10 co-authors,
Mm,
international collaboration.
okay.
And then I wrote the Encyclopedia of All Things Sasquatch, Hairy Humanoids from the Wild, which is a documented research in hundreds of sources from antiquity to
Right. And
now.
did you complete that was that in the last 5 years?
That was in
Mm.
2019 I published that one.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
I
Yeah.
published my, well, the first three volumes of my autobiographical series, Contemporary Shamanic Journeys,
Hmm. Hmm.
which are bricks. They don't go out so well because they're kind of thick books and, more biographies. It's not as general interest, but let's say I had to write it. It was asked from me to put it all in one place, all those collections of stories that I had in my bag that
Yeah.
might be useful.
Yes. Yes. I think feel like we're really called to bring our stories forth now. And are you working on another? What do your writings include right now? Do you have any projects at the moment?
I haven't written in 2 years now.
Yeah.
Uh, since I moved to my place in the woods, I had other things to attend. I still
Yeah. Yeah.
I do interviews. I had a conference last month,
Hmm.
but I'm planning on start finishing my bio within a final fourth volume. This starting this winter. It can take a couple of years to write.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It takes time and a lot of focus and when there's so many things elsewise calling us to get to our creative projects. So coming back to the journey of the soul, I've heard mention in your works of the soul memory. Can you speak a little to that, or maybe how we might re-encounter our soul memory?
It started again very young when I started having dreams, for instance, of past lives, where I had vivid dreams with details. I was seeing myself, for instance, in the prairies as a Native American on a horse, things like that.
Mm, mhm.
With episodes, recurrent dreams, and that brought me to look into what we call reincarnation.
Mhm.
That is pretty much a universal belief, even among Native Americans and many ancient traditions. The soul moves on and comes back to keep learning.
Hmm.
to keep also accomplishing and fulfilling our destiny, our duty, or whatever, our purpose. So for me it came early, and then I had more and more friends, and we had visions of past lives in each other. We could see faces in meditation, deep meditation, for
Yeah.
instance. And then I started doing past life reading at one point with pendulum or
Hmm.
uh, dowsing, uh,
Dowsing of some kind. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
and found I mean, I did that just a few years because I found a lot of mind-blowing information. I mean, that people were completely blasted because it went in very intimate detail of their lives or their relations with different people that I couldn't know, you know.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So that often brought some well, the purpose of all this is not curiosity, it's to learn what we can do with this knowledge. For instance, remember our strength, our skills, and as well our defects and our failures, so we can work on the healing or repairing the mistakes of the past.
Yes. Yes. And I have people who come to me for, yeah, what we call the past life or parallel experience, readings, and it's always predicated on what is the soul needing now, or what is the incarnation needing to know, what is the wisdom needs to come forth. Like you said, it's not like um shopping after curios. It's more to learn, very much. I know you still doing that kind of work, Sunbow.
No, actually, it's not that I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just let happen. It's not like
Yes. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
practice that
Yeah.
a consultation, for instance, you know,
Yeah.
tell you about your past life in the next few hours or something. But it's all the main purpose of all these practices for me. It's the healing. It's how we can get past our blockages, our karmas, and become better humans and become stronger, wiser, and more loving, and help others to heal. That's the purpose of this whole story.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. My question, was going to have a question about like, what is the biggest teaching that the Sasquatch have given you? And I feel like you just spoke to that. That's anything else to add to that? That's also a big question. That's a
It is
broad topic there, but
very wide. It's very hard to pick what's the most important.
yes. Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
it's For me, it's a big picture.
Hmm.
The years of studies and research and discoveries, and I had like all pieces of puzzle all messed up on my table. You know? They said, let's put it up together,
Yeah.
and then it all became clear. It's like, oh, that this and that all makes sense now to me. You know?
Isn't it funny too how things we can receive something in I don't know, in a certain frame of time, and then over it takes a while to digest and process and distill that, and like, oh, you go back to it and like, oh, but that's what that was, but I couldn't quite connect all the dots with that wisdom coming through. It took me some time. Or when I sometimes do a reading for people, and they contact me a year later and went, I've been digesting that. It didn't make any sense at first, and then over this past year, everything has unfolded. Like, wow, it's so remarkable. So I think it speaks to the patience we need to
Absolutely.
take the next step and the next step without knowing the destination, perhaps. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, totally. It's not a weekend hobby, like I said. Or it's not like an overnight thing, you know. You go, you take a course, and you become a.
yeah,
It's
hmm,
like a lifetime
yeah,
way of life, spiritual path that has many, many branches and forms. That's not
yes,
like everyone has the same teachings to follow, but
yes,
uh, if you walk the path, you will find what you need
yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing
for
that.
you.
Yeah. Um, is there, and what would be their request of us now from the Sasquatch? I know I kind of asked this previously, what are they, is their message still the same over time, but is there something for us to know in this moment of 2025 that we find ourselves in? Are we making any progress? That's a tough one too. I mean, that's very, it can't even be answered, but
Some are not, that's for sure.
yeah.
And that's also one of the thing they say about what's coming is there's two paths, that we can, like we were talking earlier, we can choose healing or destruction. Some will choose one and others will choose the other. And that's free choice. We cannot force anyone to say, no, you should do this, that's right, and that's wrong.
Hmm. Hmm.
And everyone will end up eventually where they head.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So there's some risks we have been warned against,
Yes.
in our days, in this year, let's say this generation we're living. And some of the big ones are, let's say, to summarize, the artificial matrix, which involve geoengineering,
Yeah. Yeah.
weather manipulation, artificial fires, all those things to push an
Uh,
agenda, and then
yeah.
transhumanism, which want to connect
Yes.
everybody, chip with a artificial matrix, and that so we all can
Yeah.
be better and
Mm.
despite it.
Yeah.
And those things are not sci-fi anymore. They're all pushed at
Hmm.
trillions
Hmm.
of dollars. So let's say we better get ready until what we decide, and we've been warned that
Hmm.
we should stick with Mother Nature, with the law, the ways we were created, and the ways this Earth was created, and we don't need to mess with. We shouldn't mess with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next and last, that very much at the root of all human problem.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
I would summarize this with the word indoctrination.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mind control, propaganda, whether religious or political, it's all meant to push more dominion and power to those who control, and any mean is good. Any mean is good. So we
Hmm.
create, fake religions, fake government, false flags, and it's all fake. It's all meant to deceive and to control. And we have to free our minds right now, humanity. We have to come out of this old paradigm, being enslaved and just going along with it. Like those guys are in office, so we have to. They're in power. No, they don't have power over us. They're usurping power. They're stealing power. And look at what they do. We don't want those guys to run our planet. We want a better future. So it's ours to empower ourselves, take
Yeah.
our power in our hands, and co-create, because we're not alone. This real reality, this world, these relationships, this environment we want and we believe in for us and our future generations.
Mm. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Well said. I appreciate that. And when we're speaking to the matter of humanity's enslavement, I'm drawn back to Sasquatch in my mind. Were they also manipulated by regressive galactic beings at some point? I feel it's
Somewhere,
yeah, yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. Has that lessened at all over what we call time? Is that something we can speak to at all, or is that not time maybe not so relevant? Has it gotten better, I think, is what my human linear mind is going to. Is that enslavement by other groups lessening at all? I mean, we can talk about, as you said, the manipulation through the false matrix of humanity, but are they still being controlled in any way, or are there grabs to shut down, the benevolent interactions they would like to have with humans?
There's certainly some that are probably subdued or caught in some karmic entanglement.
Yeah.
However, the majority of Sasquatch have um, in, remained protectors and caretakers.
Hmm. Hmm.
Their
Hmm.
actions show,
Yeah.
and that's why there are stories where sometimes a Sasquatch goes rogue,
Mm-hmm.
and just the stories I heard in Chehalis.
Mm.
There was a young Sasquatch who came, started, messing around the village, stealing things, scaring people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the elders of that tribe did a sweat lodge ceremony, and they asked the Sasquatch elders to take care of this young guy because he's going rogue. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it happened after that. Yeah,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah,
What a beautiful, I mean, that's such a beautiful example of an alternate sort of intervention rather than we're going to go and, let's hunt down the hairy beast and do the thing. We're like, oh, there's some care that needs to happen. What's happened here? And different teaching entirely.
yeah.
And solution. I love that. Um, wow. Yeah, I'm just sitting with all of this. There's so many things. Would you say too that you spoke to CE5 in the beginning of our conversation. The more that people are opening their minds to galactic and what we call extraterrestrial um, awareness, we're opening ourselves to those possibilities. And I'm speaking in general terms to the more mainstream. Um, does that also it affects us spiritually? I mean, does that affect our ability to make contact with or be more open to the Sasquatch messages or to elevate ourselves spiritually? The question wasn't clear. Are we elevating ourselves spiritually by seeking communion with benevolent galactic races that uplifts the planet in general? I mean, is that part of the trajectory for us?
A time of our evolution where, well, we came out of a tribal age where we didn't know our neighbors and we were fighting and fightings and stuff. Then religious wars, and then political wars, and now we come to a stage of our evolution where we all go around the world, see each other, speak to each other across the planet, and see what's happening, and we realize we're all the same. We all want one species, one family,
Mm-hmm.
and it so this takes us to a next level where we're not alone. And we have, first of all, we have all kinds of other life forms sharing the planet with us. But there's also other non-human intelligence,
Yeah.
and we come at a point where it's becoming more and more accepted because even we know animals are intelligence and souls. So uh, with all this information going around for forever, and now there's some kind of a disclosure, although it's controlled.
Yeah.
And sometimes they, spoon feed us with drops, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's a
Mm-hmm.
disclosure happening mainly from the grassroots level, from experiencers, people who have developed
Yes.
knowledge, and certain networks or researchers that
Mm-hmm.
share this. So it comes to a point where we cannot keep believing the same stories we were believing 2,000 to 3,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We know
Mm-hmm.
more. I mean, we don't have to know more, but we have an opportunity to know more and to upgrade our understanding of the universe and who we are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. To a point about, consciousness. I've heard you say, consciousness is a non-local phenomena. Um, at the quantum level, I understand that. Could you say a little bit more to that? That's also a big conversation, but is there anything you would like to say to that?
It is a big conversation because it's the first dimension. That's how we
Yeah.
can define. Even, I mean, I'm not the one who worded it, but maybe it's the way I explain it. But that's comes from quantum physics. That comes from spirituality. That comes from
Yeah.
That's the source of everything. What is beyond space and time? In the first dimension, what is eternal in itself and all inclusive and all omnipresent, and all those quantity can be found in the first dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
what is the first condition to existence it's consciousness. That's it. Before an experience or any phenomenon can be observed, it takes consciousness for it to happen.
Yeah.
And so I know it sounds kind of space, but that's how it works in the universe. And I'm not the one who's making it up. It's just
Yes. It's if
just
you sit
picking
with
up.
your yes, if you sit with your mind for a long time, you it goes out in all kinds of places that become not even local to what we call self. That's my observation through practice.
Exactly.
So there we get back to our original query around channeling and how do these messages come through? And one of the other things that occurs as we're speaking is like, oh, a lot of times when we want to connect with beings from other worlds, it's like, oh, what can I get from them? Will they help me? And sometimes I feel like a reframe might be in order, like how can I learn what they have to give me? Or it can be a kind of grabby quality, possession kind of quality. So when we kind of let that go and meet in a way that is, in human terms, I would might say heart-based or so, um, more like, can I listen and see what wants to arise here? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that summarizes pretty much the two tendencies in the universe. There's the service to the self and the service to others.
yeah.
And there's like two, or another way to put it. There's a black hole that sucks in and swallows everything around,
Hmm.
and even the light. On the other end, there's like a star or a sun that creates matter and project lights and heat and energy in the universe. And if you took a convex telescope, you call it a Centellini telescope, that instead of reflecting the light, it refracts it, so they can see what's in the light that this we don't see it with the light. And in other
Mm,
words, they found there's a lot of formed entities that travel all over the place.
yes.
There's two types. There's the darker than the surrounding and brighter than the surrounding.
Mm, hmm, hmm.
So this is we can it's even verified by physical physics. So we can say that works. It's a blueprint for the universe. We can choose to be a black hole or a sun.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you. I'm just sitting with that. We can choose to be a black hole or a sun. I'm just repeating that. I feel like that's important to the message today. Asking the readers to go and sit with that for a moment. Something inside that we need. Um, yeah, and thank you for just being such a, like I said, an open mind to Sasquatch and the role that might be played in what we call disclosure and all these encouragements that we have to get on the path of heart and spirit and reclaiming our inheritance and our own wisdom that's within us over millennia. It's all inside of us. It's not somewhere else. Do you have a sense of your vision or mission now? I know the mission can be kind of a big word, but what inspires you now with all of this?
I feel I still have to write
Yeah.
while I can. Other another thing is I'm pretty much starting to think about retirement.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't mean it doesn't come with a pay, but I mean, I live in the wilderness and with a nice local community and some very nice consciousness and lots of solidarity and things and culture around
Yeah.
and lots of space. So pretty much sure that after 40 some years of traveling, I'm pretty much over with it. Although, I still can go somewhere,
Yeah.
but I have enough to keep me busy here. I planted all kind of trees and I got
Hmm.
gardens. I got plantations of medicinal herbs and so
Yeah.
that's pretty much my middle even long-term vision to like finally blend into my environment. I feed some wolves here. I got deer in my window. I
Mm.
don't need much more than that, really.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. It's such a testament to what happens when we're, I want to say, tending our relationship with the land and the spiritual energies of the land, and that will hasten all kinds of connections with both, earth-based wisdom and also that which comes from up there, or through the stars in the quantum field and all of that. And so we want to give all the links for you and your books below so people can really find you and be illuminated by what you've brought through your shamanic pathway and also through the teachings of Camus and beyond, and that which has come through from other experiencers of the Sasquatch reality. Any last thing? Spoken a lot here.
Well, let's make the world we want. It starts today or even yesterday, but let's just manifest this vision of beauty, of peace and harmony. That is not a dream or a utopia. It becomes a reality the moment we manifest it. So the more we'll do that, the more ripples it would make, the more our environments and the world will end up catching the vibe. But let's not forget, we cannot save the world or everyone, at least. There will be some big cleansing and some hard, probably the hardest time humanity has never had. But it's also part of evolution, and it's not to be feared, it's to be embraced. That we're going through another storm, after which it's going to be a nicer rainbow.
It's perfect. Thank you. I feel a lot of beings around us as we're speaking and coming to a conclusion today. My heart is really full, and I'm thanking everyone for being here and all of our unseen helpers as well. Um, please do find Sunbow's books. You'll be illuminated by what they contain in such a timeless way. If you want to book sessions with me, one-on-one transformative work through inner child sessions, healing readings, past life readings for sure, coaching, and so much more. You can book that through the links below as well. I'm also speaking live at the Super Soldier Activation Conference in Orlando, Florida, October 8th through 12th coming up. You can join online or in person. But back to Sunbow, thank you so much for your service to humanity. I feel like we gave a message from everybody today, and I'm so honored to speak with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just to mention this briefly, I have a mother and father from a previous lifetime, indigenous mother and father, and I just call them simply mother and father. They've been with me every day for about two and a half years. They were my parents from a previous lifetime with the Crow people, and they've helped me heal so much. They've done soul retrieval work for me. They helped me journey to get parts back. And that's actually ongoing. Like even today, I was working with them this morning. And their love is so beautifully unconditional.